Hi there, welcome to I Don't Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Leo energy. I'm going to get a few of these cards out. We'll get clarifiers on it to fill out the story of what might be going on. And since it's not a personal reading, I'm just going to tell you how different people could be harnessing this energy and what actions they might be taking based on if they harness high vibe Leo energy or low vibe Leo energy. And we all tap into Leo energy. Leo energy is that fiery side of ourself that's either aligned more with our mind than our heart, prideful and egotistical, want the spotlight to be on them, um, kind of operate from their shadow side, fearful, insecure, jealous, envious, greedy, lazy, maybe full of themselves. So they think, why should I have to put in work and effort into a relationship? Why should I have to treat others as I want to be treated? Look at me. Look at me all full of myself. I don't have to put in work and effort. People just want to be with me. For whatever reason they think. Maybe they have looks, maybe they have money, maybe they have status, something or it's just all in their own mind and they live in illusion. But for some reason, people in shadowy Leo energy are kind of full of themselves. And um, why would some people choose to operate maybe more from their pride and ego? Because they've been hurt before, maybe. And because of that, they don't want to be emotionally vulnerable. So they put on this false mask of being bold and brave and all that, maybe being the loudest person in the room or whatever, to make themselves feel important because they're not empowering themselves by truly like loving themselves and healing their past pain and heartbreak. So when people haven't healed their past pain and heartbreak, they're unable to move forward in their life and they kind of keep repeating patterns, the same patterns of the past. Some people are emotionally defensive to being vulnerable, of being authentically themselves. And so, because of that, they operate from their pride and ego and emotional defensiveness and create illusions in relationships. Because people want to be in relationships and friendships, right? But they present themselves as being a loving, kind, committed person, um, stable and grounded and all those things, but they're really not. It's just an illusion. They're hiding the fact that when they're in relationships, they want the scales tipped in their favor because they don't want people to know. Well, they kind of want to be indulged in a relationship. They want to be the center of attention. They want to be enabled to stay being selfish or greedy or prideful or very worldly focused instead of love focused, or to emotionally defend themselves. And people who are in high vibe Leo energy are people who have worked through all those issues, at least the ones they're consciously aware of at this point, because we're learning lessons about ourselves throughout our life. And people in high vibe Leo energy are people who are willing to step in the spotlight of their life. They've tempered their shadow side. They have good boundaries against letting themselves tip into their selfish, greedy nature, their unfair nature, their indulgent nature. They want to maintain balance within themselves because that's what makes us feel at peace within ourselves, and also promotes peace in our relationships because we're not being selfish and greedy and emotionally defensive and selfish. We temper our worldly, beastly nature to be at balance within ourselves, and so that we can work openly and honestly, being emotionally vulnerable with people in relationships, being our authentic self, because we have done the work to love ourselves and believe in ourselves and offer ourselves compassion and forgiveness for our past mistakes and people in the past who might have hurt us, so that we can have what we deserve, have the justice when we're balanced, not tipped into our fear, our insecurity, our laziness, our self-indulgence. We're balanced within ourselves, and that way we have the justice we deserve in our life in order to have victory in our relationships with other people. The reason for the reading is because of the World card and the Two of Wands. For some of you, well, high vibe people have learned their lessons. The World talks about having completed a cycle in your life, you learn the lesson you were meant to learn from that phase of your life about yourself, about other people. You have a new insight and understanding about what your dreams are, what you are and are not willing to tolerate in your life and within yourself, and a new higher perspective of self-love and love and what it means to you. And in the Two of Wands, if you had dreamed of life coming into reality one way, or with one person or a friendship group or a work group, or maybe particularly with an Aries, you're letting that go. And if it was you who used to be someone in your Aries energy that was more about me, want, because Aries is our fiery nature, which can be kind of, if we're not balanced, we could kind of drive our life off into the ditch because it's all about us and our wants and our dreams and our lust and our greed. And if it wasn't you having to let go of that nature within yourself, there could have been someone else you let go of. And maybe it was someone who, when they dream of the future, they're always wanting to repeat patterns of the past. They don't want to learn, they don't want to grow, they don't want to mature. And so if you knew anyone like that, or if that was an aspect within yourself, you're letting it go. You no longer expect your dream to come into reality with that person or being that way within yourself. You now are emotionally willing to step forward in your life, step out of your comfort zone, and be emotionally open to a new life experience. And what you are doing in the Nine of Wands is defending your future. You've learned to have good boundaries within yourself so that you don't tip into your fear, your insecurity, your selfishness, your competitive nature, your prideful, egotistical nature. And also learning to have good boundaries with people who have tipped into those things or choose to live in those energies. Because in your future, you want people who are balanced within themselves, people who present themselves to the world one way because they truly authentically are that way within. Not people who wear a mask and say, oh no, I'm loving and kind and dedicated and committed and honest and treat others like I like to be treated, but it's a lie. Inside, they're just presenting an illusion to get in a relationship. Those people are defensive. They haven't learned to have good boundaries within themselves. They haven't healed from their past pain and heartbreak. And those people want to be in a relationship with someone who will nurture them instead of them doing the work within themselves. And that's part of the lessons we're meant to learn in life is we need to close out our old cycles of being codependent on other people to give us the things we were meant to learn to give ourselves. The Queen of Pentacles, male or female, it talks about emotionally learning your lessons. Learning how to invest in yourself, treat yourself with love and compassion and respect and encouragement, like being your own best mother, father, coach voice in your own head, so that you can be balanced within yourself. You're no longer tipped into fear or insecurity or wanting to be indulged in a relationship, looking to find someone who will nurture you and love you in that way. Where you get to be defensive to being loving and nurturing to them back because you're fearful and insecure of being emotionally hurt if you were to invest in someone. We either, what I'm trying to think of some sayings like, we reap what we sow. And some people live in fantasy land, and when we live in our shadow side, we're not seeing the truth. That the truth is about love, being just, being fair, treating others as we would like to be treated. And people who live in their shadow don't see the truth of that, and they're defensive. Some people right now could be defensive towards loving people in their life because they want to be in a relationship. For some of them, they want to find a partner who will indulge them, basically. For others, they're very worldly focused. And it's about money and image and status and materialism and pride and ego. And they're being defensive to loving people in their life and basically to their own loving nature because they've chose to align with their more worldly nature. Instead of seeing things from a higher perspective and having hope and faith and belief in their dreams, because the Two of Wands is about dreaming of your future, some people sadly have given up on their own dreams. They don't have belief in themselves and their future that they can accomplish their dreams. So some of them are defending wanting to be in a relationship with someone who has money and materialism, because that's what they love. Two of Cups is Cancer energy. So instead of learning to have good boundaries against their fearful side and their own fearful thoughts and emotions and, basically listening more to their fearful mind than having hope and faith and belief in love, if they believed in love, they'd learn to have good boundaries within themselves and say, I don't deserve to be in fear and insecurity in my life. That's a miserable way to live. It's like our divine inheritance to learn to have good boundaries against our mind that tries to, make us fearful of love and being hurt. And other people who align with that same type of energy who try to make us fearful of love. They need to learn to have good boundaries within themselves, and people who there's all sorts of people in the world who align with our shadow side that would love to make us fearful, insecure, try to make us choose the world and make our life all about image and status and money and materialism, because that's what they did. And they didn't follow their dreams, and they didn't go get in relationships with people they truly love, and they're not believing in their dreams. Well, other people who haven't done that want misery loves company. They might not want other people to pursue things and have their dreams come into reality if they didn't. So we have to be careful and learn to have good boundaries against people who want to put an end to our dreams. People are either loving and encouraging and supportive or they're not. And people who operate from their shadow side are trying to create emotional confusion, illusion, and emotionally manipulate us. Because if you weren't trying to emotionally manipulate someone, you'd be open and honest and emotionally vulnerable and treat them as you would like to be treated. So just as we need to learn to have good boundaries within ourselves, we have to have good boundaries against other people in our life who try to make us more align with our worldly, egotistical, prideful, emotionally defensive, fearful, insecure side. If we want to defend growing ourselves to our full potential and being in relationships with other people, friendships and all that stuff, work groups, where people are also coming from a foundation of love and nurturing. But sadly, there will be those people right now who like to play the wounded warrior in a relationship. They get in a relationship, they're defensive, they're insecure, they're defensive in the relationship, and then the relationship ends. And the people in their life let go of the dream that they thought they could move forward in a loving, nurturing relationship with this person because they're so defensive. And then those people play the wounded warrior, create an illusion to everyone in the world that they were the party who was wounded, But really, the whole reason the relationship ended is because this person is defensive and they want to be in relationships with people who will mother them, where they don't have to grow up and mature and treat other people just and fair. And some of them is because they want to be in a relationship with someone who has money and materialism and status and image, because that's what they value more. So let's go look at the clarifiers. You high vibe people right now have learned to have boundaries. For one, about getting caught up in your head about love, about believing your dreams can come into reality. The Three of Wands is expecting your dreams to come into reality. And you're having good boundaries against your own mind that tries to stop us. It's kind of like built into the system. If you want to have your dreams come into reality, you've got to work for it. You've got to take creative, inspired action to stand up for yourself and believe in your dreams and defend yourself against your own thoughts that try to prevent you. Otherwise, you don't get your dream to come into reality. If you're going to let your mind keep you in fear and insecurity, well, then I guess that'll be the end to your dream, because you've chosen to live more from your mind than your heart, trusting your intuition, believing that you can manifest your dreams into reality. So you're going to do that, and you're going to give a lot of thought to what you want to have come into reality. And you're going to have good boundaries, because you don't want your dream to be with people who stay in that mental prison, who never work through their thoughts. They just stay in anxiety and stress and fear and insecurity, but they never put in the creative effort to work through their fears and insecurities. We go from 9 wands to 3 wands. That's a 6 of wands at play. The 6 of wands talks about having victory in your life, that you've overcome your inner conflict, maybe your competitive nature in the 3D world, or if someone in your life tried to kick up your competitive energy within you to make you be in a mental prison, and they ended because they don't believe in their dreams. They try to manipulate people into being in the same mental prison they are. That is the type of relationship they like to be in. Oh, are you fearful and insecure too? Me too. Let's defend that dream and let's be in a relationship. And let's both of us give up on our dreams, because I don't want to step forward in my life. I don't want to step outside my comfort zone. And you high vibe people said, yeah, no, I can't move forward with you. That is not my dream. I'm going to have good boundaries against people who have a lot of fear and insecurities. And that's like the extent of how they think life is to be lived. It's like, I don't want to be in a mental prison. I don't want to be enslaved and entrapped in fear and insecurity, worried about what everybody in the world thinks about me. I want to go live my authentic life. In my Leo energy, I want to be authentically myself. I want to step in the spotlight of my life. And I'm willing to take creative action about my fears and insecurities to have my dreams come into reality. And in your future, you want to align with people who are aligned with the energy of love. 2 of Cups, Cancer energy, loving home and family and self-love. People who in their Pisces emotional water sign energy have become enlightened. They've seen themselves and the world around them from a new perspective. They've tapped into their emotions and their imagination and their dreams of what could be. So much of what keeps us in a mental prison is our own thoughts. Well, what would people say? And oh my gosh, and all this and all that and all, it's who's putting all those thoughts in our head? Sometimes we have other people that try to put those thoughts in our head. Someone probably did. We were probably like imprinted or patterned with that growing up in our life, that, oh no, you can't do that. You need to be practical. You need, we're kind of our dreams and all that stuff, the world basically tries to make us let go of our dreams and believing in ourselves. We live in the 3D world, and the 3D world is always trying to tell us that, like, the most important thing about us is, looking successful in the world. If you make, a certain amount of money and you own a certain amount of things and you have this image or that status, stamp of success. Oh no, don't take bold creative action in your Aries energy. Don't be willing to be brave and bold and be willing to let go of the worldly foundation to follow your own dreams. Don't do that. People who have been willing to listen to their intuition because your soul is calling you to live your life and to grow to your full potential. When you think of it, we've only had 100-year generations since year 0. We're 2,000 years in. 2,000 years ago, people were in, kind of mud hut made brick houses with an open pit fire that they were on. Thank goodness some people stepped outside the box and said, I am willing to follow my dreams. I am willing to listen to where my soul is calling me to pursue the things I love, the things that really inspire me, the things that I believe is possible, because what we believe we can bring into reality is what we can bring into reality. Or the universe has a plan for our life. Yep, that's right. You have a special interest in those kind of things, if it's bugs or math or science or whatever it could be. Those things that are unique to you, the divine gave you, not the world. And you are meant to follow those things. And that is the soul journey path for you to listen to your intuition. The divine gave us our intuition. The world didn't give us that. Those unique special talents and skills and interests we have, the universe gave us that, not the world. We're meant to follow those things and go on a journey of aligning with ourself and our truth, of believing in ourself and believing in the things that truly inspire us and light us up and, buzz our brain from a natural way, because it's aligned with our true self. And thank goodness people have done that since year zero, because I'm really glad that we have cell phones and airplanes and light bulbs and heart surgery and all those good things. You want to be with people who've seen life from a new perspective, seen themselves and the world around them from a new enlightened perspective, who are willing to learn the lessons they were meant to learn, and they're willing to move forward in their Virgo energy. They've gone within to gain insight and wisdom about themselves and about the past and what has previously kept them feeling stuck, because the Hangman card is a universe card of saying that if we try to align with things and people outside of us and jobs and careers and friendship groups and everything, where we feel kind of stuck, there's a reason. There's something we're not seeing. And in Hangman energy, it can be about somebody kind of getting caught up in their pride and ego, and if we're in relationships that seem very stable and grounded and practical in the 3D world, which is what the Pentacles talk about, well, sometimes we get caught up in our pride and ego, and we're kind of, little did we know, over time, we kind of got caught up in the worldly things of life, and we kind of let go of our dreams. And we're kind of no longer, we kind of got caught up in the rat race, instead of continuing to take the bold, confident, creative, inspired action to give as much time and attention to our hobbies and our dreams and, all those things, because we got caught up in the worldly thing. So you want to be in relationships with people who are enlightened, who've learned their lessons and are willing to keep moving forward, not just stay where they're at or keep repeating patterns of the past. And some people are very prideful and egotistical, and their whole focus is, it's about money and materialism and status and image. That's all there is to life. It's like, well, it is if you think it is, if that's how you perceive yourself in the world and why you're here is just that, okay. I don't know. What about love? What about creativity and being, feeling creative and inspired in your life because you're with people who are truly loving and supportive and encouraging with them? Some people right now, because they feel stuck, and if they're too prideful and egotistical to try to see things from any other perspective, that there is nothing but the world. There is nothing about except money and ego and image and status. Those people right now are kind of more aligned with their prideful, materialistic, worldly side, and they are going to right now either make an offer to continuing to emotionally invest in money and materialism in the world instead of love, and they turn their back to moving forward in their life and stepping outside their comfort zone. And when they align with that nature within themselves, they might also want to make an offer to someone who possesses those worldly things that they want and that they covet. Maybe someone who has a lot of money and materialism, and that is the person in the Six of Cups that they want to emotionally work with. And they will give up on their dreams and believing in what could be because they've just gotten so like indoctrinated by the world that it's like, no, I should emotionally work with people who can give me things of the world. That's the most important thing. Not people who are bold and creative and inspired and, maybe, where my dreams could come into reality. But if people have given up on their dreams coming into reality and they don't believe in themselves, they're going to defend making an offer to, it could even be loving their own foundation, unwilling to detach from either their own foundation or a former foundation in their life. It could be their original family. That, no, I have to, we have deep affection probably for our families that we grew up with. We were happy in the Six of Cups of Scorpio energy. We have deep emotion and affection for them. Some people, wouldn't give up on their own dreams in order to keep staying attached to that family. Maybe there's Ten of Pentacles is Virgo energy and Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. Maybe they are someone, Queen of Pentacles I've used Taurus energy too, their underlying philosophy of life could be that we emotionally invest our time, energy, and effort into very worldly, stable, grounded foundations that we then work together with emotionally. It's not to maybe invest in very emotionally deep, loving relationships in order to have stability and abundance in our life. They kind of have it twisted around. It's like, oh, do you have money and materialism and stability and security? Okay, I'll invest in you and I'll work with you emotionally. And some of them aren't getting in another relationship. Some of them could be offering their resources maybe to themselves and their own love of money. And they figure that they can have, because I kind of look at the Six of Cups as, some type of emotional balance. And really for them, maybe that would bring them emotional balance for where they're at in their life and how they perceive themselves in the world. It will give them a sense of emotional balance and happiness, because maybe otherwise it would be really emotionally disruptive. Because in order for them to grow and learn and change, they would have to take some creative action about their fears and insecurities and nurture themselves. And if they just have a lot of fears and insecurities, let's go see why. Why do some people have so much fear and insecurities about, well, they'd have to overcome their own competitive nature in the world. Even in relationships, if people are in their shadow, they're very competitive in their relationships in order to have the scales tip in their favor, where people indulge them, their fear, their insecurities. Because maybe the idea, because we go from Eight of Swords to Nine of Swords, so we've added a sword of thought or idea. The thought of maybe taking action in truth really puts them up in their head. A lot of stress and anxiety. Oh, because of the World card. Some people are so stressed about the world, what other people would say, what other people would think. They're just conforming themselves to the world instead of living their authentic life. Let me fit in. Let me have the status and the image that the world says I can have if I am willing to basically sell my soul, give up on my own dreams in order to conform to the world, hoping and in my own mind thinking that those people now are giving me their stamp of approval. So codependent on the world. Plus, for some of them, if they were to move forward in truth, they're really stressed about closing out old cycles of their life. Maybe one of the cycles of their life they would have to close out is them being wanty, me, wanting the scales tipped in their favor. You know, if they have always worked creating illusion in relationships, kind of being emotionally manipulative, maybe being emotionally defensive, being prideful, egotistical, in order to get people to indulge them in a relationship. And that's just the toolbox that they've used in relationships. And it hasn't been openness and honesty and authenticity and love, you know, to end that cycle of being able to be thinking that they deserve to be indulged or wanting to be indulged or selfish and greedy, prideful and egotistical in their Leo nature, shadowy Leo nature. You know, the thought of closing that out could cause them a lot of stress and anxiety. Also, just very stressed about the world, money, image, status, materialism. So sadly, the people who aren't willing to have good boundaries to their own fears and insecurities, their fear of what the world would say if they really lived their own authentic life, and or fear and insecurity of being authentically themselves, loving and nurturing themselves, puts them in a mental prison. You know, if we are going to tap into our emotions and our intuition, you know, we'd see life differently, and we'd invest our time, energy, effort, and resources and who we invest them into differently. And this person maybe aligns with their prideful, egotistical nature and their emotionally defensive nature. And that's always been their long-term plan, to be emotionally defensive, stubborn, prideful, unwilling to see things from anyone else's perspective or to even see life from any other perspective. So they're either going to keep focused on a foundation of their past, like their original family, or they're going to keep focused on doing things the way they've always done it, because the Ten of Pentacles is very set in its ways, very hard to move. For some of them, maybe they don't want to become enlightened about some of these foundations of their past that they have emotionally invested in, that they have fond feelings for. But if that foundation of their past has with a Virgo or a Scorpio nature that is about repeating patterns of the past, not following dreams, not believing in yourself, not nurturing yourself emotionally, investing more in money and materialism. Some people don't want to acknowledge the truth of that or see the truth of that. Maybe that would emotionally destabilize them. And we can't do what we can't do at the time. You know, why aren't all of us maybe getting on a bus and going to New York or LA and doing those things, or, you know, because we're not emotionally ready to do those things. And some people just have more lessons to learn. You know, the universe is going to continue to make this person feel stuck if they keep offering their time, energy, and effort towards, it doesn't mean they won't get in relationships with people based on money and materialism and fear and insecurity, but they're always going to feel stuck in it. If they keep offering their investing in a foundation of their past that encourages them to put an end to their own dreams because they want them to conform to their foundation, to keep doing things the way they've always done it. They gave up on their dreams. They don't want you to pursue your dreams, and out of love these people are going to conform to that foundation. We all have foundations in our life that can try to make us conform to it. You know, we can have our job group, we can have our work group, our friendship group, our original family group, a love connection. We're not supposed to be so invested in a foundation that we give up on our own dreams. And the people that we're in a foundation with shouldn't ask us to do that. They should respect our dreams, that we're all unique individuals. Is this person similarly telling these other people how to live their life and what they should do and what they can't do. I mean, who gets to decide these rules? Was it a mother figure in a foundation, maybe a Scorpio, that's telling this person, no, no, you have to invest in us. Don't pursue your dreams. Maybe they have a lot of stress and anxiety that if they were to pursue their dreams, you know, they would have to share that with people in their foundation that are trying to, if they're in shadowy energy, they're trying to emotionally manipulate them. And if this person were to become enlightened, they would have to, I mean, part of the thing, you don't have to tell them, I find you emotionally manipulative or passive aggressive or controlling. All you have to do is say, I've become enlightened about some things I want to move forward with. I have deep affection for you, but not at the expense of giving up on my own dreams. And instead of being someone who looks to the past, or not seeing things clearly, I'm closing out that cycle of repeating patterns of the past. But that could really have someone in a mental prison if they're very codependent on this foundation in their life for their sense of stability and security, and maybe, because they have deep emotional connection with them. So sadly, some people, because of their fears and insecurities, they operate from pride and ego. They're going to continue to repeat patterns of the past and give up on their dreams. I did, before I turned on the camera, I shuffled the Manifestation Alchemies deck of Mega Oracle deck 1 and 2. And we got the word keeper, risk taker, hiding something because of robbery. Anybody who's emotionally manipulating someone and trying to get them to stop believing in their dreams and taking bold, confident action in their life is basically trying to steal from someone. No, I want you to emotionally invest in me. Stay here. Anybody who's operating from their shadow and wants to come make an offer to someone, watch out if this is you. You might have someone who's defensive and in a mental prison because maybe someone they were in a relationship was really stressed and anxious and moving forward, so a relationship ended. And now this person is stressed about their dreams coming into reality. So they've decided in their pride and ego, they're going to make someone else an offer, someone who's nurturing and stable and abundant. It could be the Six of Cups can talk about someone you've worked with in your past that you know. If they're defensive and insecure about their dreams coming into reality because they don't see life from any other perspective, they don't want to do the work to nurture themselves and learn lessons to move forward, well, they're hoping to find someone who they can get into a relationship with them, who will nurture them, maybe become a marriage partner, because the Queen of Pentacles is the Pentacle suit is the only suit of the deck. That wants to get you into a relationship for you to give up on your dreams. And I would think some of you would maybe tell someone like that, no, I don't want to be in relationships with people who have a lot of fear and insecurity. I want to be in relationships with people who have become enlightened and have learned some lessons, who have learned to nurture themselves and their own foundation, and have learned to emotionally work with both sides of their nature. We do live in the 3D world, but we also have an emotional component to ourselves and a spiritual component. And in order to create miracles in our life, we have to work together with the two of these natures together. It's not just like, no, I'm ignoring that. I'm going to live more from my mind and focus on money and materialism and ignore my emotional, intuitive side. It's like, I don't want to get in a relationship with someone who operates from half a foundation. If you haven't learned to come to peace with your worldly, beastly nature and your hopes and dreams and love, then No, I've ended that dream. If I at one time had thought a dream could come into reality with you, well, apparently, um, you might have previously been defensive to moving forward in this relationship with me, and I moved on alone. Because under the world, we do have the Six of Swords, seeing that someone has a lot of mental conflict and might have an energy about them of wanting to win at all costs, to protect themselves or their pride, their ego, their emotional defensiveness. They don't care who they hurt. It's all about being defensive. And you saw the truth of it and you've moved forward, and you are trusting the universe in Aquarius energy to believe in your dreams. And you have called judgment on these people in your life who try to offer you things of the world and appeal to your worldly nature of stability, security, image, status, pride, and ego. Oops. But it'll be toxic. It'll be in the devil Capricorn energy. It's all worldly focused. Capricorn is earth sign energy, and it ends up enslaving people. If you're not balanced with yourself and seeing the truth that the world tries to instill fear and insecurity so that we don't pursue our dreams and believe in ourselves and believe in love, and we get consumed with money and materialism and status and image. It's like, no, I've seen the truth of that. And for some people, you could know that this person moved away from you before to pursue their dream. And their dream was to make an offer either to a Capricorn or the world or people who could offer them those worldly things where they didn't have to deal with their fears and insecurities, where they could be codependent, selfish, greedy, fearful, insecure. It's like, no, I've already found out. I thought you were a keeper, but you took some foolish risks because you were hiding that in your kind of shadowy nature and fear and insecurity or emotional defensiveness, you try to steal from people. You try to create illusions in relationships to get people to nurture you and invest you and put up with your fearful, insecure, prideful, egotistical nature because you think you have things of the world or have things that people would want to be in a relationship with you out of their, well, maybe they just fall for the illusion, but you're really stealing from people because if you're not being open and authentic and brave and loving and authentic, you're trying to steal from people in a relationship. So you've learned you high vibe people, hopefully you, your loved ones, your friends, everybody you're involved with, hopefully you've all learned to have good boundaries towards people like that in your life who just basically try to get you up in a mental prison by their defensiveness so that you won't keep moving forward, so that you'll be in a relationship feeling stuck with them and they can move forward with their long-term worldly plan where you nurture their very stubborn, grounded foundation, unchanging, and that you work together emotionally. It's like, I want more than that. I want more than you might see. This person probably thinks that they have things that people in the world want. They could be very attractive. They could seem like they own a lot of things. They could be in debt to their eyeballs. Who knows? Or they could actually have money. Or they could seem very stable. Maybe they have a certain status or image. They think because they have those things that they can operate and be aligned with their prideful, egotistical, selfish. I don't have to treat you as I would like to be treated. I don't have to be open and honest and authentic. I don't have to be emotionally brave and confident. I don't have to temper my shadowy Leo, worldly, beastly nature, prideful, egotistical nature. I don't have to do that because I've got these things of the world. And I can get people who emotionally are willing to nurture me and my worldly foundation and work together with me emotionally, just like I have had people from my past be willing to work with me. And I think some of you high vibe people are saying, no thanks. I see you lack vision and foresight and aren't brave, aren't bold, aren't confident. And I see you have an energy about you where it's all about you. And you don't care who you hurt. You don't care if you're stealing from people. You don't care if you create an illusion with people when you get in a relationship with them. You create the illusion that you'll be a loving, nurturing partner, but it's really about you being emotionally defensive and all about yourself. I've made a judgment on you, and I have learned my lesson that the universe is saying, keep moving forward, learn the lesson you're meant to learn from dealing with someone like this. And in your high vibe Capricorn energy, put in the hard work and effort to have freedom in your life. Because high vibe Capricorn energy frees you from feeling enslaved, restricted, confined, controlled by things of the world. That's true freedom. That's, Capricorn energy is about building a legacy in life. And some people get so consumed with the worldly things, they think, oh, that's my legacy. It's like, well, it is if you think it is. A true legacy worth being proud of is the fact that you become free of the worldly things because you put in the hard work and effort. And you are trusting in the divine, that the divine has a plan for your life. And that if you keep putting in the hard work and effort to learn your lesson about people who are selfish and greedy, who maybe backstabbed and betrayed you because they're prideful and egotistical also in their Taurus energy, that life's about being surrounded by luxury in life. Look at me, I have luxury. I can surround you by luxury in life. You should get in a relationship with me and look up to me and admire me. You're like, yeah, I'm ending that. And I'm taking that youthful believing nature within myself to believe in my dreams. And I am going to listen to my intuition. I am letting go of people who are secretive, who reject listening to their intuition because their intuition tells them not to act like this. It's not just, it's not fair, it's not kind, it's not loving. But they, out of their pride and ego, reject listening to the intuition that the divine planted within them and say, no, 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 I don't have to listen to that. I'm the most important person in the world. I make the rules, I guess. And to people listening, you're going to listen to your intuition about people who keep secrets. And the secret's already been revealed. High Priestess reverse means the secret's out. This person is very ungrounded, unstable, and unabundant in a emotional way, in a spiritual way, because this person is not independent of the world. To truly live your life, you need to be independent of the world. You have to know your own worth and value. And if you knew your own worth and value, you wouldn't be hiding in fear and insecurity and emotional defensiveness. You'd be willing to step into the spotlight of your Leo life and be open and honest and authentic. So if people haven't done that, I think you're moving forward because, again, if we keep indulging people who are like this, they're never going to learn their lessons. And let someone else deal with them. You're not missing anything. If you want to feel entrapped and enslaved in a relationship where you have to give up on your dreams to nurture this person, even though you might have deep emotions for them, you're going to have to let go of that dream. Because if this person hasn't seen the truth, to see things from a higher perspective, Aquarius energy is about being willing to step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to humanity. And again, thanks goodness some people over the last 2,000 years in world dynamics are willing to step outside the norm and say, I think I can make a light bulb, and they gave it 2,000 tries or however many tries to have the damn light bulb. Thank you. Thank you for believing in yourself and not giving up on yourself, because I really like light bulbs and electricity and TV and cell phones. You know, if they're not someone who is willing to think outside the box and take bold, confident action on their dreams, and in the Eight of Cups, be willing to walk away from old ways of being that they've invested in that really don't bring true emotional wish fulfillment, that are kind of emotionally dissatisfying, but they stay within it anyway. Some people's dream, their idea is, I just want to be a shining star in the world. I want to have money and materialism and status and image. Or the most important thing is for me to be in a relationship where everyone orients around me. That's my dream. And I'm unwilling to walk away from it, even if it is emotionally unfulfilling. Well, if you're not willing to walk away from old ways of being in your life and your pride and your ego and your self-centeredness, it's going to be unfulfilling for you to move forward in that relationship. You're going to end up walking away anyway. If you've seen the truth, you can't unsee the truth. And if this person you find out creates an illusion, you're going to walk away and speak the truth. Are they going to walk away and speak the truth? Are they going to bring justice to the situation by speaking the truth? Some people don't want to walk away from old ways of being and speaking the truth to bring justice to the situation. They think, oh no, if people want me to be emotionally brave and strong and step outside of societal norms and move forward with that idea, I'll walk away from you, because I definitely live more from my mind than my heart. And I think the just and fair thing is to align with the world and money and materialism and pride and ego. It's like, okay, different strokes for different folks, and the universe can use whatever people choose to be. They've got free will. The universe will work with it. If nothing else, to teach the high vibe people to see things from a higher perspective and add to the strength and foundation of people who are brave and strong, so that those people will walk away and claim the justice they deserve in their life by standing up for the things they believe in. We need both kinds of people in the world. As long as we have this dualistic nature within us, there's going to be people in the world who are completely aligned with their shadow nature, their fear, their insecurity, their jealousy, their envy, their greed, their pridefulness. Money and materialism is the driving focus in their life. And there's always going to be people in the world who are aligned with love and hope and faith and belief, who listen to their gut and their intuition, not out of fear, not out of insecurity, not out of pride and ego, but out of self-love and trust and belief that there's more to life than those things. And maybe as you walk forward in your life, you're going to find other people in the world who are just and fair and balanced in their Libra energy, who come from a foundation of love, who speak the truth, who act in truth, who are open and honest, brave and confident. And those are the people you deserve to be aligned with, to be in relationships with people that you are evenly yoked with. So there you go, Leo energies. And hopefully, like I say, you and your friend group and your work group and your love relationships and your family dynamics, hopefully all of you are in high vibe Leo energy. And there's just either some family members or a neighbor or the person on the third floor at work who you just have good boundaries with. Because all they do is try to put you in a mental prison, try to make you give up on your dreams, try to emotionally manipulate you into fear and insecurity, get you in your pride and ego so that you'll invest in them instead because they have image or status or money and materialism or looks or something. They're basically just trying to tempt you away from being with the loving people in your life that you're aligned with, because they don't align with love. And people who are in shadowy energy try to stop other people who look like they're on the path to a loving, nurturing, deeply emotionally connected friendships, work groups, and relationships, because they don't have them in their life. So don't let people like that tempt you. You got on the quote calendar, there is no education like adversity. When I flipped that, I had to laugh because it's like, oh, that's funny. That is the whole point of life. We're meant to learn these lessons. somebody right now could be defensive and in a mental prison because they had a dream that they could be in a relationship operating from pride and ego. And they could have thought that if they were maybe stubborn and prideful, maybe that the other person would make them an offer to be in a relationship. But the people didn't do that. They rejected this person. This person, Aries fiery energy is about taking action. You know, fire moves fast, and this person does not do that. They were saying, no, I'm in my emotions and my pride and ego, and I'm going to stay here. I'm sure if I keep staying in my pride and ego, someone basically trying to manipulate people, especially if it was someone you have deep affection for or that you at one time had a loving relationship with, they're trying to use the love that you have against them to manipulate you. And thinking that if they kept operating out of their pride and ego, because you are a loving, nurturing person, you know, emotionally, you're a very nurturing person, male or female. You are someone who tries to nurture environments, foundations in love. But you've learned your lesson. You've become enlightened how this person uses their time, energy, and effort to manipulate you. And so instead, you're nurturing your own foundation out of self-love. And you closed a cycle on them. And this person could really be in a mental prison. And now if this person wants to have their dreams come into reality, they're going to maybe have no choice but to get in a relationship with someone who's just like themselves. Either find someone new that they could create illusion with, or maybe go get in a relationship with someone who's just like them. Someone who also emotionally invests in their worldly, shadowy nature, who's all about money and materialism and status and image, and they're just going to have to do life just like they did when they were growing up, which they haven't wanted to deal with. And it's like, yep, it's just going to be the same old pattern of the past. Repeating, because that's what basically the universe does. You either learn the lesson you're meant to learn to move forward in your life, and if you don't, you are going to be imprisoned repeating a pattern of the past until you are willing to work through your fears and insecurities to move forward. You have free will. Do you want to keep repeating patterns of the past, being in relationships with people who remind you of your past, people who aren't bold and confident and brave, people who are maybe prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, emotionally self-defensive? Okay, you can keep being in relationships with people like that. If you try to create illusion with someone else, they're just going to leave you, because those people know their worth and value, and eventually they're going to leave you. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep getting in relationships where people leave you, or are you going to stay in a relationship with people who are just like yourself and find out how fun you are to live with? So we're meant to learn lessons in life, and if we don't, we end up feeling stuck. And the whole thing is because the universe wants us to become enlightened. What are you investing your time, energy, and effort into? Are you nurturing your own foundation with love and balance within yourself and within your relationships, or are you operating from pride and ego? Let the uncomfortableness of feeling stuck make you decide to learn your lessons and nurture yourself, to let go of dreams you might have had with people that weren't willing to learn that same lesson, who aren't willing to nurture themselves and come from a deep emotional foundation within themselves to be balanced. If they're not willing to do that work, it's always going to cause you to feel defensive and in a mental prison, because this person is prideful, egotistical, and stubborn. So there you go, Leo energies of the world. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.